Come on, man. Live stream, go up. Alright, there we go. Cool. Turn down my computer. Live chat. We know the deal, guys. We know what's going on here. Okay, cool. So, welcome back. Another Minecraft gameplay. I haven't done one of these since the school project. Here's the dealio. You saw the title of the stream, new Minecraft project, plus Wildlife Adventures update. So before we get into the Minecraft update, I want to get in the Wildlife Adventures update, just get that out of the way at the very beginning of the stream, so anybody who wants to know about it can just hop on and see what it's about. Basically, Wildlife Adventures, my second channel, has not seen a lot of attention in years. Like, when I quit this channel, like, I didn't quit it, but like when I stopped season 1, that was over a year ago. I haven't made a video and uploaded it on Wildlife Adventures in like 2 years. It's been a while. But don't think I forgot about it, because I still have it. I still check my email address for that to see what's going on every now and then. I still hop on that channel to do little edits to like the channel whenever I need to, if I need to. Like, I've done that since I've quit. So I'm definitely giving that channel attention. Just right now, there's nothing going on it. But here's the thing about that channel. Not only soon, well, basically, you saw in the room tour plus season 2 premiere, that was a joke video. We all know it, but some of the stuff I actually said in there is true. The ideas I had for my room, like the trees on the walls, the wallpaper, all that, that is actually what I'm going to do with my room. It's not done yet. I'm going to work on it this summer. So that was like last summer I made that video. So it's just going to be a little while, but by that time, once I get it out ready, I'm going to start working on my room. Remember, this is a new house, relatively new house, but once I get my room done, there will be a lot more Wildlife Adventure content that has to do with that room. I still have my mealworms that were featured in that channel. That's great. They survived the fire, surprisingly. But I still have them. They're doing great. I don't have anything else. Nothing else survived. But yeah, no, don't worry about Wildlife Adventures. That's getting videos in the future. But the update about it is that I want it to have more videos than it does, because I realize now that when I made that channel, I thought it'd be a good idea. I was like, every week, why don't we just go out to the park and like hunt for stuff? That's really hard to do. I can't just do that every single day, man. First off, if I'm wanting to keep stuff I find, I have to have a spot ready for it, and doing that every single week, and you know, I'm not here every single week. If you guys been watching for a while, you know that. That's why I had to make my schedule in the past super specific. Right now I don't really have a schedule. I just do whatever, whenever I want. But in the past, when I did have a schedule, I had to make it super specific, because it just wouldn't work any other way. So I can't, you know, just running that channel is really hard to do, because I have to have a spot for the things I find, and I don't even necessarily know always what I'm going to find. I have an idea where I can find stuff, and I go out there search for it, but I could find anything, and so I had to just be prepared for anything, which is not always super possible or is a good idea. I realize that now, that I was probably a really bad caretaker for some of the stuff I had in the past. I feel like I'm going to be way more responsible now with my mealworms. I'm taking good care of them, and if I ever get stuff in the future, I'm going to be more responsible about it. And yeah, and also, if I do that every week, I'm not even, there's no problems I'm even going to find anything. You know, so you just might have a lame video with nothing in it. The last video I did upload to the Wildlife Adventures, I think, was the Scarites, right? That's quadriceps. That was the last video, I think. But it might have been the when I went to the park and found nutras. I think it was called Scary Frogs or something. I don't quite remember what the last video was, but you know, this stuff's really hard to do. Okay, so what am I getting at? Well, Wildlife Adventures channel, probably gonna change the name. I don't know what yet. Probably gonna change the logo. Probably gonna change everything about that channel, the description, everything. Just totally revamp it. I'm already currently trying to do that with my channel, but YouTube is just, their layout for all this is just so bad now. It's really hard to, I don't know why, but whenever I try to fix the Gaming Spies tab, just won't let me delete it, won't let me update it, won't let me do anything. So just old people who aren't even in the Gaming Spies anymore are still on there, and I can't get rid of it. And then the actual row that I had for Gaming Spies, I deleted it thinking I could, you know, make it better, make it fixed, have all the relevant Gaming Spies members now. And yeah, no, I can't do that. It's just YouTube is broken that way. Arrow's talked to me about this. I've talked to him about it. He's like said, hey, what happened to Gaming Spies tab? What happened to, why aren't you updating it? What happened to the row? I'm like, man, YouTube is just sucks. Like, I want to put it back up there, but I can't. So all the Gaming Spies members are probably going to get a link in the About section on my channel as a sort of temporary solution until I can figure out what's going on. Second off, yeah, so I'm also trying to change my banner for my normal channel, but I don't know what to do, and I know about how going out to make it, but I really don't have any ideas of mine, so I'm just waiting for something. The one that We Gave Me Scooter made me back in the day still works sorta now. I don't do reviews, I don't do vlogs, but I do Minecraft sometimes, mostly Fortnite now, but you know, you get it. It can work. It can work, even though it's my OG YouTube skin and logo. I also want to change the logo for my channel, the profile pic, because that little dude that I've had there, you know, it's I found that off the internet, and you know, just got it off Google Images. And I think that's kind of dumb. I want to make my own little logo, so I'm probably gonna get on Photoshop and do something like that. But yeah, that's good. That's so I tried to change it to an actual picture of me a while back, but you guys are like, nah, fuck that. You guys like this one better, so I'm gonna do something similar to that. Okay, so what am I getting out with Wildlife Adventures? Gonna revamp the whole channel, rename it, and broaden out my content. I'm not only gonna do the Wildlife Adventures original stuff, but along with that, I'm gonna do other stuff. This is basically just gonna be a second channel for me. Any vlogs I want to do, any reviews, anything like that that doesn't really fit what my main channel is for now, which is strictly streaming and season 2 storyline, the channel storyline. If it doesn't fit that, it's gonna go on my same channel, because I still want to do some of my old content. Not all of it. Some of it was really bad. Like, I'm not gonna post reviews and like of just me filming the screen and stuff, but I'm gonna put some good content on there. Actually, right now I am, for months, this stuff is like, months ago I started 2 long-term projects. One was in November that I started it. The other one was in like the summer. It was a really long time ago, and both those projects I've been working on somewhat consistently since. And so yeah, once those are done, I'm basically just gonna post what I'm doing on Wildlife Adventures and give you a whole video about it. And it could be really cool. But yeah, that's not done yet. So just saying, there's 2 really big videos coming to Wildlife Adventures in the near future, and then like I am almost done completely with one of the projects. The other one, I have an idea of when I'm gonna be done and how I'm gonna be done. So yeah, those are 2 videos coming in the near future to that channel. Also, a whole revamp of that channel is coming too, and a revamp of this main channel. I just need to change the banner and the profile pic. But let's get into like what Minecraft project I have going. So you guys remember season 1 of my channel, I used to do a lot of Minecraft gameplay. And one of the things I like to do is I like to build worlds, minigames, factions, adventure maps. That's what I'm getting at. So, you know, also I don't have those old saves anymore. I do, they're backed up on a USB. I just need to find the USB and get a PS3 to plug into and transfer it to. So it's gonna be pretty hard to get those worlds back, and I'm probably not gonna get them back anytime soon, because I would have to get a PS3 to do that. But here's the thing. I am currently working on, because those old worlds, they were kind of bad. They were kind of bad, except for like maybe my minigames world, which is dope. And stuff like that. I still love those worlds. They're nostalgic, man. Those are great. And I'm currently in the process of remaking some of those worlds. The minigames I have not started. I've done a few attempts of trying to do it. Super Craft Bros as well. Both of those are on Switch. But since Bedrock kind of came and took over, I don't really like Bedrock Minecraft at all. If you guys have been listening to my stuff at all, I hate Minecraft Bedrock Edition. So, James, what are you doing in here?
Looking for the Switch remote charger.
It's just the regular Switch charger.
Yeah, but I'm playing on the big stick.
Well, then you can't do that because we don't have another charger. You just use the normal charger. Shoot, James, I'm making a video.
Okay.
It's not here. It's at Dad's house. Go.
It smells like oyster in here.
Ellie, no. Okay. Sorry about that. Basically, I'm in the process of remaking my video worlds. And the first one I wanted to start with was one of my favorites. I made it in like a really long time ago, before I really had any friends. Period. Not just real life, but like actually just period. Like I didn't have any friends. But it was, so you guys remember I have a video on my channel called Minecraft Tour Adventure Map. That adventure map is a sequel to another adventure map I had made on Minecraft. That original adventure map was really crappy. I'm going to be straight up honest with you. It was the old Minecraft tutorial world, but I edited some of the structures built in by Minecraft and made them dungeons, and you had to go collect stuff from the dungeons, and then you can go fight like a final boss, which was a really crappy giant robot. But at the time, I was super proud of myself for making it, even though everybody who played it said it sucked ass. But I was proud of myself. I loved it, just like seeing everything that I created, even though I used tutorial world. I still did that. And, you know, you guys know about Will Spy. It's not only a venture map that, you know, I had made on Minecraft, but it's also a book I'm writing at the time. I think I've said something about that. Maybe not, but I'm writing a book. And, yeah. So, let's just get into it, man. Let's show you what I have. The new and improved. You guys didn't see the original. You guys did not see the original adventure map. You only saw the sequel. But let me show you the original. So here's what I did, right? The original is going to lay out. It's going to be, I'm taking the best things about the original and the best things about the sequel, combining them and improving on it. So, the original, one thing I liked was how open world was. Since it was literally just built on the tutorial world, you could go anywhere you wanted at any moment. There was no set paths like there were in the sequel where you're forced to go in one direction. You could just straight up go anywhere. That is kind of what I'm going for this, but at the same time I want there to be set paths. So let me just get in and explain. It'll be a lot easier that way. But another thing I liked about the sequel was just how nice it was. It was not just built on the tutorial world and felt like there was no personality. It was I built it. I gave all the NPCs names and gave them dialogue. You guys saw that. Gave them personalities. Gave them stories behind them. I like that, and I incorporated that into this one as well. So let me drink some milk so I can get rid of this particle effect. Okay, already you guys are noticing that this is way better looking than both the sequel, and you guys can only assume what the original looked like. Garbage. It was literally just a tutorial world with like redstone and stuff just everywhere. Yeah. Okay, one thing I improved upon here is the set paths. You guys can see that there are set paths here. Like, you can only go this way, you can't get out, and this way. And I will get to the open world part in a minute. Basically, what I improved upon is to make it look more natural. Not only did I give the super flat decorations to make it look like an actual world, somewhat, I also made the dirt deep. And so instead of just building up walls, straight up and down walls, like I would on the sequel, I actually came out and I built, I just dug down. It just makes it feel more natural. It feels like you're not just in a path that was made. It just feels, it just makes it feel way more natural, man. And yeah, there's no restrictions about seeing out, since I did make it look natural outside, like a real world. You can totally just look out there and you can tell it's a super flat, but at the same time it doesn't look bad, and I need to fix that right now before that dirt goes away. Okay. But you can see, yeah, it looks much better than just the set paths I had before. Second off, when I've been writing this book, I've been working on the lore of this world as well. And so the world lore is very updated. You guys knew about the books you could read in the original. I think I read some. Most of that lore. Alright, most of the lore for this world was created when I made the sequel to the original adventure map. And yeah, most of it was there. All the gods were for this world were created when I created that sequel. Most of the races were made when I created that sequel. Or not most of them, but some of them, and the characteristics and like the details of those races were picked up on. Since then, a lot has changed, but it's been expanded upon, and some things has changed. So first off, here's your little starting area. Nothing crazy. And like the second, I liked how there were secrets, like you can open furnaces and find meat and stuff like that, keeping that there. But at the same time, it's not overwhelming. In the second, like I said, I picked up like 50 secrets in that tour video, and I was like, I'm also not going to do all of them because there are way more than this. It was just chock full of loot, and by the time you left the first area in the second game, which wasn't even that big, you already had like 3 stacks of emeralds that you could trade with for like infinite golden apples. And it was just super broken, and there's not that much. In the first area in this adventure map, there's like, I counted them, there's a total of like 14 emeralds total. So there's really not that much. Second, oh yeah, no, the lore is touched upon. So in the sequel and the original, you had a backstory book, except in the original it was just signs. Actually, in the sequel was also signs as well, because that was before written books were added in both of those when I made those. I think I later updated in the sequel to be an actual book, but that was after. Wait, no, I just had signs. Did I? No, I had a book. I did have a book in the sequel, but in the original I had signs because that was before written books were added. So basically, yeah, the lore is completely changed. Not completely, but it has changed some. Like you see here, Tyler, which is literally just Tyler. In the original, it was just his name was just Tyler. But I was like, hey, that's not really the name of a god of destruction. So when I made the sequel, I changed it to Tyler. Nothing really to say here. There's just some like, it's way more detailed than sequel, and definitely the original. Okay, this is a remake of the original, right? So the detail in the original was really bad. Like, I think the backstory was Tyler, the king of the Nether. It was literally said the king of the Nether kidnapped your wife, Lauren. Go save her by collecting all 6 pieces of the sacred armor and the spy sword to defeat him. That was the whole story. It didn't have all this backstory. This is way more in depth. You are William Spy Gunther, the new king of the Imperial Spy Empire. Plight Snad, Prince of Dardisia, has come with a message. People from across his kingdom have gone missing recently. Your wife, Lauren Sunny, has also gone missing. Plight thinks it may be Tyler, the god of destruction, is doing. To stop him, you will have to collect the sacred armor and sacred weapons from across the young lands. The first piece is in Spartown. Way more detailed, straight up, and that's just barely anything too. Also, you may notice that there's like some builds outside of the main area. So basically, the open world part of this. At a point in the adventure map, you will get items like ender pearls or TNT, or vines, which will allow you to leave the restriction areas and go onto the super flat. That's one reason I made it look natural like this, because you can do this. That gives it a sort of open world feeling. So like at first you are restricted to this little area, but eventually you get to a point where you could just get out of there and then just go wander and find a new path where you need to be, to like as a shortcut. And so that's how it's open world. I think it's a good idea, and I will be filling it with stuff. Right now I'm having other people build their own little creations that I will obviously, touch up on to make it fit the theme of the adventure map. But yeah, no, totally. Yeah. So here's the thing though. Like I said, I'm not building this stuff outside of the restricted areas. I'm only building the stuff around the restricted areas. Most of the stuff outside, except for a few things, are not going to be built by me. They're going to be touched up by me, but they're not going to be built entirely by me. So I need help. So if you want your creation to appear in my world, there is a community. Message me on PlayStation. My username is in the description of this live stream and in my About tab. Message me on PlayStation asking to join the community, the adventure map community. I have a community set up for this adventure map where you can get on there and take a screenshot of your own builds so I can recreate them as it fits the theme in my world. If you want to build them yourself, maybe you're a better builder than me, or maybe you just, want to see the world and also want to know, and also want your build to be in a specific point, I can do that. You just join the community. Now, basically, if you want to get in this world and you want to have privileges to build and stuff, you have to be in the community. The community not only helps people submit builds so I can put in this world, but it also helps me know who's helping me build this world. Everybody who is in the community will have privileges on this world. Not moderators will have moderators in this world. Basically, this world and that community are linked. Like, if you are in the community, you have privileges on this world. If you're a moderator in the community, you are a moderator in this world. Yeah. So basically, the rules are you have to join the community on PlayStation. If you can't do that, you can message me on Instagram using the Spy William account with your screenshots. That'll work too, and I'll rebuild them. But yeah, no, build your thing, whatever it is. Take an isometric screenshot of it, and if you don't know what that means, it means from the corner, from the corner with the most detail. So for this is Arrow's build right here. So that would be this corner. I get to see the fountain and the little building in the same corner, rather than this one where you only see, like, you don't see the door of the building, you don't see the waterfalls in the front, you literally just see part of the roof and this with the wall. So go to the corner with the most detail, stand about this far from it where you can see the whole building, take a screenshot, and then go inside and get an inside shot of the build from the corner as well. So I can, you know, have your builds, like how it looks. Yeah. And then you need to, if you're building on this world, so you either need to send that to me over Instagram, or you need to send that to the community once you join. If you build it on this world instead of just doing that, you have to take the screenshots, even if it's on this world, but you also have to put a sign next to your build with your username so I know who built in the first place. If you're in the community and you build on this world and you do all the requirements, you give me the screenshots, you put your sign next to your build, you do all that, I will touch up your build. I'm going to do that anyways, unless it's so bad that I just can't do that, which most of you won't do something like that. But I'm going to touch up your build so it fits a theme. It will stay relatively the same, just a few changes, depending on, Arrow knows this, but this is probably going to get almost entirely remade. Whereas this other one of Arrow's builds, which is just like a little farmer here, is only going to get touched up because this fits the theme. Okay, so it'll either get touched up or it'll be changed in some way, no matter what, unless you build exactly how the theme is. And then if you do everything that's required, your building will be in the game. You'll be given credits. There'll be a book in the starting chest with credits to everybody who helped on this world. And you'll be given an Easter egg in the world for you to find when you play it. This Easter egg is not going to be anything big. Don't expect anything big because I already have a ton of submissions. I have submissions from 5 people. So don't expect it to be super big, but you'll get a villager named after you. You may get, I don't know, an item that, whatever it is, you'll get an Easter egg made for you in reference to you specifically. So if you want to give me some details on that, if you want it to be a sort of specific thing, I'll tell you whether or not I can do that. Just you have to give me the details. So yeah, let's just keep going. So one thing I liked about the original, as soon as you start the game, you could go anywhere. You weren't restricted at all. And the game was bad like that. So you could just straight up, there was only the thing about the original is some of the dungeons, you could go in the dungeons in almost any order. For the most part, you could straight up just go to the last dungeon and just clear like that and just beat the game instantly. Wait, no, you couldn't. You could not do that. I'm dumb. There were some restrictions, but you could basically skip dungeons, and there's some dungeons that were required, some that weren't at all. Let me see here. So not entirely, but you had to go to every dungeon. But you didn't have to clear every dungeon, if that makes sense. So basically how the original worked, you had to get all the sacred armors, which there's 6 of them, and the spy sword. And then in each of those dungeons, there was 2 Eye of Enders, which in the sequel are renamed the Eyes of Awoken. And this is the remake of the original. But yeah, after that you have to go to the final dungeon, which in the end of the dungeon, it's a really short dungeon, but in the end of it there's an end portal, and you open it with the Eyes of Ender. So you do have to go to every dungeon to get the Eyes of Ender. You have to find them. They're hidden in every dungeon. But You could just, you don't even have to, but that means you didn't really have to clear every dungeon. You just had, because the ending item was always the sacred armor, and that was never really a requirement to get. Even though the story said, yeah, you have to do it to defeat Tyler, it was never really a requirement because you could beat the game without him. So you don't really have to clear the dungeon. You just have to get the Eyes of Ender. Yeah, just the Eyes of Ender. Some of the dungeon items, which were the items halfway through the dungeon, not the sacred armor. Some of those were required to be other dungeons, but you still don't have to clear dungeon to get it. So like the only ones you had to do is in the second dungeon, which was the Desert Palace. You had to get a key, which is a lever. And yeah, and to get that you had to get bombs, which was the dungeon item for that. The key was like a secondary item that was used inside the dungeon, but it was also used in another dungeon. So you had to get the key for the other dungeon. But at the same time, I'm like, that was really bad design, because the Eyes of Ender in the dungeon that required the key, which you got in another dungeon, the Eyes of Ender weren't even hidden inside the main dungeon. They were hidden right outside the dungeon. So you didn't even have to go in the dungeon to get the Eyes of Ender for that. But you did have to go in the dungeon to get the Ender Pearls, which is the dungeon item for that dungeon, which you had to go to get to the Nether, which is where the second to last dungeon was located. All that's gonna be fixed, because it was just not a lot of nonsense. It didn't make some sense where dungeons weren't necessarily required, but yet some of them you had to go halfway through, some of them you go 3/3 through, to get a certain item from the dungeon, and then you don't even have to complete any dungeon. Obviously, that would make your life a lot easier, because the final, like the sacred armors and the spy sword, were pretty useful. They're pretty good armor and weapons. But it was not required. So that's just kind of dumb. Hey, someone just joined the chat. Someone just joined the stream. Welcome. If you want to, like, skip back to the start of the stream when I talked about the Wildlife Adventures update, you can totally do that. And once you're done, you can just skip back to live, like right now. If you want to hear about that. If you're here for the Minecraft stuff, stick around. We're talking about it right now. So yeah, but yeah, I'm fixing all that. Most dungeons, well, since the dungeons will still try to be open world, you can really go into any of the first 6 dungeons, or any of the first 5 dungeons in any order, but after that, you need the items from the first 5 to complete the rest of them. So it won't be possible without the items you get from the first 5 to complete the rest, which is a good solution. Okay, so yeah, this is not completely done. I'm probably going to build some stuff in the live stream. Once the first area is completed, I will do a demo on stream, and then I'll be like, hey man, there's also a demo. Just add it on PlayStation, you can play through it. But that's not right now. It's not, the first area is not even complete yet. Basically, one thing I liked about the sequel of the original is, excuse me, that before you could advance, there was a small tutorial section where I was teaching about keys and how you had to go get them and to get stuff. So I have the same sort of thing set up here. In the original, you didn't have to do that at all. You could just go straight on and just go to the first dungeon immediately, or you could just skip the first dungeon and go to the second dungeon, because the first dungeon wasn't required at all. You could totally skip it. So you have the same sort of thing here, but obviously it looks way nicer. And now that spawners are in the game, I can utilize those. So there's going to be like an actual renewable enemy source now, instead of it just being dispensers, which the spawners are way easier to use. Yeah, so basically you have to go into the Grim Forest and go here. There's a chest with the key in it, which is just a lever, and then there's about explaining what you can and can't place keys on. Basically, all the book says is you can place keys on chiselstone bricks, which is right here, chiselstone bricks. For some reason, in the sequel, the original, people were really confused on what a chiselstone brick is. First off, have you ever played Minecraft? Like, if you're playing Minecraft, I've been playing Minecraft for a little while, and I'm pretty familiar with all the blocks. So, but some people don't know what chiselstone bricks is. So if you don't know what that is, this is it right here. And also, I actually put a sign making sure you knew what a chiselstone brick is. Here, place key here. Make it so obvious. And that's a chiselstone brick. Yeah, so basically you put them there. It's supposed to kind of look like a keyhole. Not really, though. And then it opens up. So. But then you can access Spy Town, which is the first city. Maybe thinking, Spy Town. It appeared in the sequel as well, but it's not the same Spy Town. There's a lot of lore there. First off, one thing, I tried to make an open world sort of role-playing server in the same universe on PlayStation 3. A lot of my friends knew about it. I never really filmed it though, because I was after I already quit season 1, so I was done recording for a little while. But ran on a problem. The max amount of villagers is 50, so I'm really trying to cut down on the villagers in this adventure map. So I'm only putting 0.5 villagers for every one house, meaning that you require 2 houses for 1 villager. Should half the amount of villagers. Obviously, the cities won't feel as lively because there's not as much villagers walking around, but it saves a lot of time, because if I want, there is a way to go over the limit with villagers, and you have to cure zombie villagers, but that takes a really long time. So I'm just halving the amount of villagers, and hopefully that works. Obviously, you can see that the town looks way better than this, the second one. I liked how the second one had walled-in cities. I really like that. The first one did, but that was only because it was a tutorial world, and some of the cities were walled in already. But yeah, no, this is this is all. What, do I have auto jump on? What's going on? I do. Why do I have that on? And game sound is way too loud. Minecraft's so freaking loud, man. The music's at 1%, and you can hear it clearly. We really shouldn't be able to, but whatever. Okay. I liked the walled cities in the second, actually made cities in the second, so I kept that around. But this time, the cities in the second one were garbage, straight doo-doo. Because here's a little tip when making Minecraft cities: stick to a theme. If you jump outside of the same sort of palette for the whole city, it starts to look like a jumbled mess, which is not what you want at all. So you can see here, mine looks nice and clean because it's all using the same blocks around the whole city. Even the castle, which is not finished yet, it still has the same palette. Even if some blocks are used more than others, it still has a similar or the same palette, and still fits the theme. Okay, cool. So it looks a lot nicer instead of looking like a jumbled mess like the second one did. But one thing I did like is I like giving the villagers personality. Obviously, if I want to make a city more lively and more realistic, which I do want to do, I really can't do that with all the villagers. All the green villagers, which are the non-tradable villagers, are regular citizens, and they live in these houses over here. They're non-interactable. Like, you can't trade with them, and they don't have dialogue. When you look at them, they're not named something special that shows off what they're saying. But some of the villagers still do have that. Some of the more important villagers do. And all these houses also have stuff in it. All these are decorated. Some of them have chests, like you see here. Basic stuff. Now, one thing I like about the city is ahead. Like in the sequel, there is a little marketplace in the middle. This one's a lot more organized than this original. Like, here we go. These guys do have dialogue. This guy's a little newspaper guy. He's got books. He's a librarian. Right, trade with him. He'll give you stuff. Cool, right? And he says, "Come get your news." This dude's a fisherman. He says, "Fresh from Vaporon," which was a kingdom in the sequel, which was originally made in the sequel. Not related. It is related. I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, cool. And this is a farmer, freshly grown. He's got a lot of stuff. And buy. And last we got our little magic dude. And I love the sea pickles. I love the sea turtle egg with the aquatic update. This stuff just screams magical ingredients. So I can just place that around. Any stuff. And remember, there's only like 14 emeralds placed around this village. Welcome to the stream, guys. Thanks for watching. But there's only 14 villages, no emeralds placed around this village. So some of the stuff from the villagers are like super expensive. Most of it is like ender pearls. This is gonna be really hard to get early on when you don't have any money, and this kind of can help keep you from getting out of the map. Obviously, if you save up, you can buy them, but you're only having like 2 with all the money collectively found in this area. So you're only gonna have like 2, so that's not really gonna get you far. And also, with how this works, you're not going to want to skip any of the dungeons this time around. But you could with the original. Cool. I also like in the sequel of the original, I liked the shops. I had the redstone shops. So I brought those back. It's the same exact design. Works exactly the same. So if you played the demo, if you played the sequel to the original, you already know how to work these. Like, it's the same stuff. Some of the items are also references to not only the original adventure map that I'm recreating, but the sequel to the original, and even, my role-playing open world sort of adventure map thing I had on PS3. Like, the Knight's Sword and Knight's Armor. Well, the Knight's Armor is new to this at all. Totally. The Knight's Sword was originally in the original thing. It was just an iron sword. Now it's a golden sword, and it's enchanted when you buy it. And that's a reference to the golden Knight's Sword. It's a reference to my role-playing world, where it was different. It wasn't iron like it was on both of my adventure maps before. Knight's Armor is a reference to it was the Spy Copper armor in my role-playing world as well. And the Knight's Sword was a part of the Spy Copper set in that role-playing world because it's made out of Spy Copper, which is a metal in this world. So yeah. And also, you can buy horses. You can buy saddles for horses, which are in stables outside the city, but you can't use them unless you have a saddle, so you're going to have to buy it. All these places are really well decorated. So it just doesn't feel empty. It feels nice. They all have stuff to say, like John, have a look around. Like, his name is John. He says, have a look around. Again, remember, this stuff's going to be super expensive. Like, you're going to have to get all the money in this entire area to afford this sword here. So this stuff may look really OP, but you're probably not going to want to get it early on because you're going to want to get armor and a sword, which is these are way cheaper. These are only 1 emerald each, so you might want to get that. And then there's also another store over here. It's more of a tavern, more of an inn, but it also has a redstone shop inside. So yeah, this is our little place over here. This is her name's Jackie Food, and she sells like some crap stuff, to be honest. But if you go back here, there's a shop, and you know, you get some stuff. Like you can get all this stuff's 1 emerald, so this is way more cheaper than anything you could buy from the villagers. The villagers is more an option for when you have money later on. I know some of you have played my original adventure map, but I never had it on the YouTube channel, so if you haven't, you can't really even see it anymore. But I'm going to have music discs. All the music discs hidden around the map. That's the reference to the original adventure map where... Let's play some chirp. But you could find... Basically, the dungeons and towns had music for them that you would find in the entrance of the dungeon or town or like a building. And it had a music disc and a jukebox right next to it. So you can play music that fits the theme of that town or dungeon while you're in it. It's just kind of neat. Kind of a good idea. It didn't really work super well because you had to do it manually. If I made a redstone automated one, that would have been much better. But, you know, it works. I'm probably not going to do something like that around this time. I might do a redstone automated one in the dungeons, just to kind of show you, hey, you're in a place now. You're in like a dungeon now. But you'll be able to find the music discs lying around in jukeboxes in each of the towns. Yeah, it's just a cool little reference to the original. How I had music disc for each town and dungeon. And yeah, it's an inn, so you know there's like inn stuff. Okay, cool. And then obviously with updated lore, these are more lore based. Like obviously this is the spy architectural sort of way of building. This is going to be seen in all the spy settlements. But some of the other races might have different ways of building. Also, something important, guys. Basically any villager that isn't green is going to have something to say. The blacksmith's my favorite. He just screams, "Rock hard, yeah!" It's in reference to his tools. Take that however you want. There's a priest around here too. I don't know where he's at though. He might be in the church. This is a church. Obviously, yeah, it's this is the goddess Kais, one of the gods slash goddesses in my world. Yeah, there's a lot of lore behind why this church in specific is worshiping her. And I will try to have... I liked how the sequel had books you could just find in libraries and stuff that you could read to update you on the lore. I'm going to have that, but I'm not going to write any of those until I'm completely done with this adventure map. Because it's going to be more like a last minute thing than anywhere that's more like details. I want to get the actual work done on this adventure map before I go into like lore and all that. So yeah, this is just church and a library. The priest is not here. Maybe he's in here. I don't... Basically... Oh, here he is. Right here. He just says, "Kais be with you." Yeah. And you can trade with any of the villagers who aren't green, too. And they should have, like... just full... stuff. Like, a full inventory of stuff. Because I completely maxed out their trade. Yeah, so I'm done explaining this little area and explaining the plans I have for this adventure map. I only have like 20 minutes before I have to go. I'm not going to end stream. I don't know, I might end stream. Yeah, I think I'm going to end stream here. This is a quick little stream just to show you what I have planned for this world and my Wildlife Adventures channel. I hope you guys enjoyed. There will be more in the future of this world and just the wildlife adventure stuff that I talked about. So be excited for that, man. I'll get updates. Tell me if you want to do building streams on this. I'm gonna definitely do a stream on this when the demo is completed, but I might also do building streams because I need to finish this castle up too. It's not looking super good right now. But yeah, so I'll see you guys later. Bye bye. Bye. Love